So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 4D versus the 3D, right? And what I'm basically going to be saying is this. We're going to start it off. We just going to go right into it. Stop thinking from a 3D perspective. And what I mean by that is you think it from a human base like mindset when you're thinking, I'll believe it when I see it, right? And Neville had talked about this in The Power of the Imagination. I forgot which chapter it was, but he talked about it was called circumcision, right? And how a lot of people, he mentioned the veil, and the veil is what's over your eyes, right? You thinking like from a 3D perspective is what's keeping you blinded, and you're being blinded by your own illusions of your own limitations, right? Because really you have no limitations, but you limit yourself when it comes to manifestation. Now the 4D is you thinking from a 4D conscious state, and what that is you thinking of believing in the unseen, right? I believe it before I see it. See, your imagination is God, right? I had to fart. Your imagination is God. And see, when a lot of people, they get so lost because they still thinking from the human-based perspective, baby. This is the law of assumption, right? This is, my phone finna die. We're gonna make this quick. This is the law of assumption. Farted again. This is the law of assumption. That's how I know that my you know what I'm saying, like my, I'm getting downloads because I'm farting a lot. But this is why a lot of people do not manifest the things that they want. And they come from, when they see, a lot of y'all understand the practice of the law of attraction, of attracting things to you. But Neville is teaching you that there is nothing outside of you because everything is within you. Your consciousness is God, right? And the way you want to be able to create those things is by going internally within and shifting from the old identity into the new identity. You are simply remembering who you are, but from a conscious state, right? You are no longer operating from the lower state of how, you would normally see things and how you will perceive things. You change and shift your perspective, but you got to do that internally. And you have to make that decision, that conscious decision, because a lot of people, they believe I could go to church, I could do this, I could do that. And Neville talks about that in The Power of Imagination. It doesn't matter what practices you do. It doesn't matter what you believe in. It doesn't matter what beliefs that you decide to follow. It doesn't matter until you finally realize that you are the God of your reality, and that in order for the things in your life to change, you have to first shift internally, right? You have to first realize that God has already given us the blueprint. Until you realize that imagination is not only what creates it, because Neville said it creates it. I say it forms it, it builds it, okay? Then you're going to forever continue to be blinded by your own limitations, because the illusion of your limitations, and you're creating the illusion because you keep continuing to follow from the 3D perspective. And baby, that's not what you do when you manifestations. When you manifesting, that's not what you do, ho. That's not what you do. And a lot of individuals stay stuck because they stay stuck in this 3-dimensional mindset of thinking. You can't think from a 3-dimensional mindset when you are choosing to actually follow the law of assumption. Whatever, when it comes to this, because if you're thinking from that state, then you're going to forever continue to repeat and continue to experience the same thing over and over and over again. You're not chasing anything outside of you. You're not attracting anything outside of you. You don't have to wait for something to show up before it to believe it. You're trusting in the unknown. This is a risk that you are taking. You're trusting in the unknown, but you're remembering that, yes, I am the God of my reality. I am the operant power, right? Become the farmer that is on the plantation. Become the farmer that is on the field, my bad. Become the farmer that's on the field, right? The farmer that's on the field, and he planted the seed. She planted the seed, right? They put the seed in the ground. You think they asking whenever the seed's going to grow? Absolutely not. They're going to keep going out there, and they're going to keep watering it and watering it and watering it and watering it until it finally actually grows and it starts to sprout. They're not worried about how, when, where. They're not worried about any of that. And this doesn't necessarily mean realistically. This is a figurative way of me speaking. For those of you who know, you'll understand. You have to take yourself out of the human-based mindset of thinking, and you have to start thinking like a God. You have to start thinking, how would God think? How would God do this? What are things that God would say? How would God move? You can't think like a human when it comes to the law of assumption. You can't do that. And see, a lot of individuals are still so blinded because they choose to allow something outside of them, an outside source, to follow without actually following within themselves and believing within themselves. Because yes, you are the God of everything that is created within you. You can create that just by simply assuming the wish fulfilled. And so many people think that that's a bunch of bullshit, but it's not. This is actual facts. This is real. Your ways of thinking is what's going to create everything that is outside of you. So until you decide to not just only change your way of thinking, but to shift your identity, close the old chapter, remove the veil, the wool that is over your eyes, that is blinding you from seeing that you have the ball in your court and you can change this shit, then you're going to continue to be that crab that's in the bucket that keeps getting pulled down, because you are choosing to limit yourself. You are limiting your abilities, your spiritual abilities. We are spiritual beings going through a human experience. You are limiting your abilities just by your illusions, because you thinking if you want this, you want money, you want that. No, I gotta work hard. I gotta do all this stuff, baby. You gotta shift yourself into the identity of already seeing yourself as somebody who is wealthy, because you're already wealthy. Instead of you thinking of the mind of poverty, just like with your specific person. Your specific person, baby, it's not even about them. This is about you. This is about you knowing you that nigga, knowing you that bitch, knowing that you can make anything happen. And until you decide to truly see who you are, and you decide to make that decision, then absolutely not. You are going to stay stuck in the same position over and over again. You're going to keep re-experiencing it. And you're not going to like it. But look, I want to say that the 4D is always going to win. It's always going to win. No matter how many times you see any curveballs that are being thrown at you when your manifestation, it might look like something is not working in your favor. No matter how many times life tries to throw a stone here or throw a stone there, you have to continue onto your path and walk a straight line across. You cannot change corners. You cannot switch. You cannot go here. You cannot go there. You have to continue that straight line across, because at the end of the day, when you are walking in faith, you cannot look at everything that is outside of you to show you whether or not it is working. You have to trust in yourself. This is your world. So make it happen. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. All right, bye.